Hello, I'm up here in the Shimba Hills just outside Diani on a moringa farm called Live, Love, Well. I'm here today to find out a bit more about moringa, about the people who work on the farm and about how water is used on the farm. Come and join me as we explore Live, Love, Well. I'm here to meet Michiel, who is an expert in anything to do with water. He's going to show us around the farm here in the Shimba Hills.
My name is Michiel and I'm the water manager at Live, Love, Well. My job is to give enough water to all the moringa plants on this farm. How I do that is by looking at how much water is used by the environment the day before. So I have a weather station where I can see how strong was the sun, how much evaporation was there on that day, how much wind was there. So today a lot of wind, how much wind was there, and all these factors, I can calculate from these factors how much water was used, and that's also the amount of water that I need to give on the day after. So I look at how much was used the day before, so how much do I need to give today to give that back to the plants. Okay, I'm standing here next to a mature moringa tree. So what we on this farm do, we harvest the leaves. So we harvest this part of the plant. So we take off the leaves and we bring it to Ukunda, where we dry the leaves and we can make powder or dried leaf or even tea from it. We have also outgrowers, other farmers, and they harvest for us the seeds. In this pot there are moringa seeds. As you can see, the seeds are nicely next to each other, and we take them out when they are ready, and we take the husk off of the seed, so that's the skin, and when we have done it, we press them. Oh, they are a little bit. So we press them in a machine, and that is giving oil. It's difficult to see here, but when you press them all together, it will give you oil, and that oil is very good for your skin. So we make oil and we make dried leaves. Well, when we harvest the leaves, we always take the petioles that are most mature. So the harvest team, they will come to each plant and they take away the ones that are ready for harvesting, and they put it all together like this. And when they come to this sorting facility, they take each petiole and they take off the leaves like this. And this is what we get at the production facility, and then we process it further into dried leaves or into powder from there.
Can you eat the leaves of moringa straight from the plant? Well, I asked Michiel and he said, yes, you can. So I'm going to give it a go. That's very tasty, a little bit spicy. It's quite nice. I think that would go really nicely in a salad. Like many farms, Live, Love, Well in the Shimba Hills is built on a slope. Can you think why this might be useful or important for a farm? All plants need water to survive, and moringa is no different. Most of the water on this farm comes from the rain. When it rains, some of the water soaks into the ground. This is called infiltration. The rest of the water stays on top and flows downhill with gravity. Gravity has a very important job to do on this farm.
Now, one of the obvious questions on any farm is, where does the water come from? Sure, some of it comes from the rain, but that's not always happening, and this farm needs water all of the time. So right here, next to me, we have the borehole. 60 meters underground, there's water being pumped up these pipes to be sent to the other areas of the farm. The water starts 30 meters underground, but this pipe goes 60 meters down and sucks water up with the help of electricity to send it up there to those two big tanks so that it can be sent to the other areas of the farm. So we've just seen the borehole, Michiel, and we know that electricity is needed to pump water from the borehole up to those tanks at the top of the hill. But where does that electricity come from?
Well, that's a good question. It comes from these solar panels behind us. So these solar panels, they collect the sunlight and they transform it in electricity, and that electricity we use to pump the water from this borehole all the way up to the two tanks on top of the hill.
Right, how brilliant. So you're using energy from the sun, not only to grow your plants, but also to pump your water. Fantastic. Just down at the bottom of the hill, all the way down there by the borehole, which is sucking water up from 60 meters underground. Behind me, this is where that water gets pumped into these two enormous tanks. Now, one of those tanks holds 10,000 litres of water, which, if you think about the big bottles of water you put in your dispensers at home, it holds 500 of those water bottles. And there are two of them, so altogether we've got 20,000 litres of water being stored in there. And from there, it gets pumped 800 metres that way. I wonder where it goes next. Let's find out. Now, we've just seen those two enormous tanks and the pump, the booster pump underneath, that's taking the water from those tanks up to where we're standing now, the highest point of the farm, the reservoir. Michiel, what is this?
This is our reservoir. This reservoir can hold 1400 cubic meters of water. So comparing that with the two tanks, that was only 20 cubic meters. This is 1400. So it's a lot more. And the reason why we have it on the highest point is because from here we can irrigate our fields, we can give water to the plants by using gravity. So we let gravity do the hard work because it will always flow down. We don't need any power from this point anymore. So you can just use gravity to give water to all the plants.
Let's look at how that all fits together. At the top of the hill, to catch the rainwater at the highest point of the farm, there's the reservoir. At the bottom, there's the borehole. This is used to fill the reservoir if there hasn't been enough rain. The borehole sucks water up from 60 meters underground, and then using the electricity from the solar panels, pumps that water up the hill all the way to those enormous tanks. From there, a powerful booster pump pumps the water 800 meters up towards the reservoir, and the reservoir is filled with the water from the borehole.
I wonder if you could tell us a bit more about these black pipes, Michiel. What's going on here?
Yeah, sure. So this is what we call irrigation. We have drip irrigation at this farm, and irrigation is basically the system where we give water to the plants. Irrigation is the most efficient way of giving water because the water is inside these pipes, and only at the place of where a little hole is, water is allowed to go out. So water trickles literally very slowly outside and gives the plant very efficient water.
Why is this style of irrigation better than other ways of watering plants?
Because this style literally only gives enough water for the plant, and it will not give also water to the weeds or deeper areas of the soil, so it will only give water to the roots. So we want to give exactly the amount of water that it ends up with the plant instead of going way deeper in the root.
Okay.
The soil.
Now, at school, we've got a sprinkler that spins round and sprays water over all of our grass. Why don't you use a sprinkler here?
The problem with sprinkler irrigation is that it is less efficient because not all the water is exactly ending up with the plant, and at the same time you're also making the leaves wet. And as we all know, here in Kenya the sun can be very, very strong, and when you during the hottest moment of the day give the plant water and the water is on top of the leaf, it is possible for the leaf to burn. So drip irrigation only gives water to the soil and it goes directly in the soil, and sprinkler irrigation you can't do it at the hottest moment of the day because you will burn your plant.
Right, so you want to water these plants all the time,
Yeah.
not just on top of the leaves where it can burn, but into the soil so the roots of the plant can suck up that water really easily and you're not wasting lots of water.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much. It's a very exciting day here at Live Love Well because today is the first day that Michiel and the team are going to try out their drip line irrigation that we've looked at. Michiel, now is the time. I can see you're excited.
Feel the ground going. So it will take some time before the water is coming out of the drip line because it has to fill up from the bottom all the way up. So it goes first, it goes down, and then slowly it will go up, and there will be pressure inside the drip line. So then we can see the water trickling out of the lines.
Now the water in this pipe is coming straight from the reservoir at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And are you using any pump or any machinery right now?
No, it's just the gravity.
Just gravity watering all of these moringa plants. Amazing.
So we are now at one of the drip lines and we can see that they are filled with water because water is trickling down at the locations where we have the holes, and each plant has its own hole. So water is exactly going to the plant and where we need it. That's why drip irrigation is such an efficient way of giving water to the plants compared to, for example, sprinkler irrigation, is what you have at school.
Let's take a look again at how water gets to the moringa plants on the farm. Starting at the reservoir at the top and using gravity, water flows downhill until it reaches this valve. When Michiel opens the valve, the water carries on flowing downhill where it starts to fill up those drip lines from the bottom all the way up to the top. The water flows along those drip lines, and when it reaches a hole, gently trickles out to water the plants in a very efficient way. All using the power of gravity.
Michiel, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about some of the problems that you have with farming.
Yeah, one of the main problems we have is actually where we are standing right now. So the main problem is when it is raining too much, so it is too much rain for the soil to infiltrate. That means that the water will start running, and this is runoff. And when the runoff is becoming too much, it will destroy our plants, it will destroy the drip lines, and it will destroy the soil. So that's what we are seeing here. The rain was too much this season. In April we had a lot of rain, and it makes these gullies, and these gullies are destroying our beds where we normally want to have moringa. So that is one of the biggest problems we are facing here at our farm.
Earlier on, Michiel explained the problem that they used to have on the farm with runoff. Now when it rains, some of that water goes into the soil, and that's what they want. They want that water for the roots of the moringa plants. But if it rains too much, then lots of the water stays on top, and they call this runoff. That runoff can be a huge problem because instead of going into the soil where they want it, it stays on top and comes downhill with gravity. And that's a big problem on the farm because that water coming downhill washes away plants, washes away soil, and can even wash away the drip lines. So Michiel and the team at Live Love Well needed to find a solution to that problem. They needed to find a way to get the water to go where they wanted to. And this is what they've done. Down each row of plants, they've got these channels, and these channels feed water into this waterway, a trench that they've dug through the farm that takes water where they want it to go. But when it's in the waterway, where does it go next? Come with me, let's have a look. So I'm walking along the waterway. Gravity is pulling the water downhill. Down it comes, all the way down here. Come with me and let's see where it goes. Now it's taking it away from the farm. The plants are safe, they haven't been washed away. But we've got to put the water somewhere responsible. Well, down here at the bottom of the farm is the river. So just beyond this fence, if you look carefully through these trees behind me, you can see the river. So we're taking it from the farm and putting it back in the river so it can rejoin the water cycle. One of the questions people always ask is, how do you know if there's water under the ground? Well, you look for clues, and I'm holding one of them. This is a type of plant that we call a fern. If you can find a fern, you've found water. And you can see behind me, there are loads of ferns. So there must be a good source of water nearby. And there is. Michiel is standing next to the spring here at Live Love Well. This is a natural water source that's coming straight out of the ground. Michiel, can you explain why it's okay to drink this water?
Yes, I can, and I think you, in the question, already explained a bit of the answer, because it is coming directly from the ground. So it's coming from the ground, it's going through all these different layers of soil, so clay, sand, and all these layers, they filter the water. So this is the water that's coming through this filtration, and that's why it is clean to drink.
Well, if it's clean to drink because it's been filtered, can I have some?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. Okay. Wow, look at that. Crystal clear water straight out of the ground, ready to drink. Now, it's always a good idea to check with a grown-up to make sure that the water you're about to drink is safe. And I've done that. Michiel has told me this water is very clean because it's been filtered through so many layers. So I'm going to have a try. Refreshing.
Let's take a look at why springs occur. You can see all of the different layers. You've got sand, clay, soil, and underneath those, there's the water. This is groundwater that you can see. Sometimes the groundwater is much nearer the surface. And when it comes into contact with the surface, that's where springs occur. That groundwater filtering through those layers and coming out on the surface as clean, filtered spring water.
Now, earlier on, I was at the spring collecting some fresh water to drink for myself while I was here on the farm. But the team at Live Love Well take that water and they want to share it with other people. Water for everyone. So the pipes from the spring come all the way down here to this tap, which is for the community. Now, earlier on, I saw somebody coming past with their cows using this tap so that they could have some fresh drinking water too. And this water here is just the same fresh water that was coming out from the spring earlier. The only difference is that you don't have to be on the farm to use it. Anybody can.
There are lots of people working here on the farm at Live Love Well. We've met Michiel, the water manager. Now let's meet 4 more people, Isaac, Esau, Juster and Morris, and find out what they do on the farm. This is Isaac. Isaac works as part of the composting team. Isaac's job is to make compost to use on the farm to help the moringa grow. He uses 80 litres of water in every layer of compost, and there are 3 layers in each compost heap. That's 240 litres of water just to make 1 heap of compost for those plants. This is Esau. Esau is a plumber here at Live Love Well. His job is to make sure the water supply from the borehole to the reservoir and back down to the plants is always functioning properly. He's got to make sure those drip lines are clear so that all of the plants can be watered. Being a plumber here is a very important job. Meet Juster. Juster is an agronomist. An agronomist is a plant scientist, and it's their job to make sure that all of the plants on the farm are healthy and disease-free. Live Love Well is an organic farm, so they need to use natural pesticides. No harmful chemicals here. This is Morris. Morris is the senior supervisor on the farm. It's his job to make sure that everything on the farm runs smoothly, and if there's a problem, he needs to find the right person to solve it. If there's a problem with the water supply, he'll call Esau. If the moringa plants need more compost, he'll speak to Isaac. And if he notices something wrong with the plants, then he needs to speak to Juster.
So there you have it, everything you need to know about Live Love Well, the moringa farm here in the Shimba Hills. I've had a brilliant morning. I want to say a huge thank you to Paul, Talita, Michiel and everybody on the team here at Live Love Well. I've learned so much about moringa and all of the different jobs and the uses of water that they have here on the farm. I hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as I have.